there, Sharon Peterson here, and I thought I would show you my onion patch. So I did some videos earlier in the year of planting my onions, and I think I only did planting. I can't remember. I meant to do another one in between, but my onion harvest is already happening. I have some that I've let go to seed, and so I thought I would talk about that today, and then talk about what I'm going to be harvesting, and let you know that I'm actually a little disappointed. My onions were coming up so beautifully earlier. They were thick and lovely and beautiful, and I was like, yay, we're gonna have great big onions, and they're already dying back. Now I'm new to this area, I'm new to Tennessee. Maybe this is the time when they usually die back, and I just had, my expectations were too big, but yeah, I was really excited with what they were looking like. But I'm not like totally crushed. I am getting a harvest. I was just hoping that they'd get a little bit bigger than they are. So let me turn my camera around and I will show you what I've got. Well, actually here, I can show you in the background here. So if you remember, I planted beets on the outside and onions down the middle, and they've already, you can see that they've already all fallen over. This one here on the end here, I allowed one, they started coming up and going to seed, which surprised me because I planted from seedlings and not from sets. And I think that might have something to do with the early fall over. I don't know what you want to call it. I think we got some cold weather, and maybe they kind of died back and then they came back from that. I don't know, but I've read that if they get froze back, it's almost like they think they're getting a second year. But I had several of them go to seed. I allowed one of each type. I kept the seed stock on there. The rest of them I cut off. So anyway, let me turn my camera around so I can get a better picture. Okay, so I've got two onion patches. This one here is red onions, and that one over there is white onions. I've got carrots on the edge of that one and beets on the edge of this one. Onions and carrots and beets are good companions, so that's why I did that. But you can see they're already all falling over. I allowed one onion that bolted, that's what they call that, and went to seed. I let one of each type bolt and go to seed. The others that were bolting, I cut the seed pod off because I wanted the onion to grow a little bit more. Now those onions that bolt, they won't store well if you want to just store them, you know, as an onion, try to dry them and, you know, store them in your pantry. And so when that happens, what you want to do is you want to chop them and put them in your freezer, or chop them and dehydrate them. So that's what you want to do with those. So let me show you. I'm really kind of disappointed. These onions already fell over. Some of these are fairly nice, but some of them are still a little bit small. You can see if you move my mulch away, you know, they're okay. I am getting onions out of them. Some of them are bigger than other ones. Uh-oh, I better pull that one. It's starting to rot. I was trying to leave them in the ground a little bit longer to see if they'd still grow a little bit. That one is starting to rot, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out. I'll cut off the bad spot and use it. But that's how easy they are to harvest. You just pull them out of the ground. They basically grow on top. Now I've got leaves as mulch. If you want to get down to the dirt, the onion is actually growing in the dirt down here. Right? These leaves are all just mulch. Those are all fallen over. My white onions look basically the same. Let's talk about my seed onion here. So when onions go to seed, usually it's a second year onion that goes to seed. It will send up what they call a scape or a seed pod. And it's obviously different than the leaves, and it'll have this pod on top that flowers. This one is just starting to open up and flower, and that is where you're going to get your seeds. So I will save those seeds for next year, and then I will be able to plant them next year. I'll have red onions, and I have another one over there for white onions. So let me take you, I'm going to go grab that onion that I just pulled, and I'm going to take you in and show you what I do with the onions once I have harvested them. I harvested like a big handful of these, and then the rest I left in the ground. I'm gonna have to double check the ones I left in the ground, make sure I don't have any more that are rotting. But the others I laid out to dry. And when you're harvesting onions, that's what you want to do. You want to let them lay out to dry. So let me take you in the greenhouse, which is where mine are, and I'll show you what I did. Okay, so I just came in my greenhouse, and this is where I have laid my onions out. Let me lay these here. These are the ones I just picked today. So you can lay them out anywhere. They just need to be kept dry. And it was going to rain here, so I couldn't leave them out in the garden. If you know it's going to be dry, you can even just lay them out on the dirt right in the bed where you picked them. But if they're going to rain, you don't want to do that. Or if you get a lot of heavy dew in the morning, you don't want to do that. And so I brought mine into my greenhouse. Now, it was kind of it wasn't the best spot because you also kind of want to have them shaded. So what I did is I just used a towel, and I just threw a towel over the top of it, a light towel, because you don't want to hold in any moisture. And you're gonna let them dry. You can see when I first picked them, there's a little bit of green on it, and now they're all dried up. So these are ready to either store or process. Now, if you remember, I had some that went to seed. If they've gone to seed, they won't store as well. And so those you want to go ahead and chop and freeze or dehydrate or whatever you're going to do with it. There are people who braid onions. I was going to try that, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just chop and process all of these. I'm not going to have a big enough harvest, and I got my dehydrator here. Does anybody else hate to chop onions when you're cooking? I do. I hate chopping onions. So if I need fresh onions, I'll use them from the freezer, and then a lot of recipes I just use the dehydrated, and so I'm going to dehydrate most of these. Okay, so that is my onion harvest for this year. I'm going to leave a few out in the garden, see if they get any bigger. Like I said, I was a little disappointed in the size, but it was certainly not a total bust, and do better next year. That's how it goes. So I hope this was helpful. You guys have a great day, and I will have to do another video on how I dehydrate my onions, because that's my favorite way to preserve them. You guys have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.